All right, everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, welcome back.
Today we're tackling
LLCs?
LLCs,
Yeah,
um, and specifically in the context of Minnesota.
that's right.
So we've got some interesting info here.
Yeah, a lot of folks thinking about starting businesses,
Yeah,
Got to make sure you're protected.
yeah. So what's the big deal with an LLC?
Well, an LLC,
Why are they always talking about this?
it's a limited liability company, and the main thing is it kind of blends this personal asset protection with some tax advantages.
Okay,
So it's really appealing to especially small business owners.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, so one of the things that I see here is asset protection.
yeah.
So what does that actually mean for someone?
Sure.
Like if I'm starting a business in Minnesota.
Yeah, so let's say you open a food truck. You know how everyone's doing these days.
Right.
Out there in the Twin Cities slinging some food.
Yeah.
And something happens, right? Maybe, there's a lawsuit or maybe, the business, you just can't manage the debt.
Right.
With an LLC, your personal assets like your car, your house, your savings,
Mm-hmm.
those are generally protected from being used to cover the business debts.
So this is like a
Yeah.
safety net.
It's a safety net, exactly. So you can take those risks
Got it. Well,
and really, go for it without risking your entire livelihood.
okay, that makes sense. Another thing that this source was talking about was credibility.
Yes.
So how does an LLC give you credibility?
Well, just having those three letters, LLC, after your business name,
Okay.
it projects this image of professionalism.
Right.
Right. And so it can inspire confidence in your investors or your partners, your clients. It just looks more official.
Makes sense.
Right. Think about it like a bank.
Yeah.
A bank might be more likely to lend money to an LLC,
Sure.
versus just like a,
Right.
Joe Schmo.
Like a random person. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And even customers, they just might feel more secure
Wow.
knowing they're dealing with an established business.
Interesting. So it really does have an effect.
It does, especially in a competitive market like Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so this source is really focusing on Minnesota.
Yeah.
So are there specific advantages to forming an LLC in Minnesota
Yeah, absolutely. Minnesota has.
as opposed to like just anywhere else?
Yeah, every state has their own kind of set of rules
Ah.
and incentives. And you might find that Minnesota has some specific tax breaks or programs
Right.
that really support LLCs.
Got
That
it.
makes it even more attractive for, Minnesota entrepreneurs.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. But I also noticed that there's some downsides potentially.
Sure.
We were talking about filing fees and publication requirements.
Yes. So there are some hoops to jump through
Okay.
and some costs involved.
Right.
So, you have to file certain documents with the state and pay some fees to officially establish the LLC.
Okay.
And then here's a fun one. Yeah.
Minnesota has this thing called a publication requirement,
Okay.
which means you have to announce the formation of your LLC in a designated newspaper.
What?
I know it sounds kind of old school,
Really?
but you got to do it, and it's for a certain period of time, too.
So like a legal newspaper or something?
Yeah, like a legal newspaper, exactly.
Wow. Okay.
And this is all to kind of ensure transparency,
Mm-hmm.
so everyone knows this new business is out there.
Okay.
I don't
So
know.
that's interesting. So, we were just talking about how there are these costs.
Yeah.
And I noticed that the source also mentioned the possibility of getting an LLC for free.
Yeah, that's where these online services come in.
Oh.
So, you've got websites like the one mentioned, Inc. Authority,
Okay.
and they really aim to simplify the process
Got it.
and potentially reduce those costs.
Okay.
So they kind of bundle the services together. They'll handle the paperwork, the filing, maybe even the publication stuff for you.
Interesting. So is there a downside to that?
Yeah, like it seems too good to be true.
Yeah, you always gotta, read the fine print,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Some of them might offer a basic package for free,
Okay.
but then there are additional fees for, certain services or ongoing support. So
Wow.
you got to do your research.
Right.
And, and also remember that even though they're handling the logistics,
Mm-hmm.
you're still responsible for understanding
Uh-huh.
and complying with all of Minnesota's regulations.
So it's about being informed.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, is an LLC always the best choice?
That's a good question.
What about like a sole proprietorship?
Right.
Like what if I'm just, selling stuff online?
Yeah, if you're just starting out small,
Yeah.
a sole proprietorship is definitely simpler to set up,
Okay.
but you don't get that liability protection.
Right.
Right. So with the sole proprietorship, your personal and business liabilities, they're all intertwined.
Okay.
So you're putting your personal assets at risk.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so even if I'm, just doing a small business online, maybe an LLC is still a good idea.
It might be, yeah.
Okay.
It's all about weighing those risks and benefits.
Right.
But, that separation between your personal and business stuff, it can give you peace of mind.
Yeah.
Especially as you grow.
That's true. Okay, so what happens if, my business takes off and I'm selling all over the place?
Yeah.
Like not just in Minnesota.
Yeah. Interstate commerce, that gets a little trickier, right? So as your business ventures outside of Minnesota, you might need to register your LLC in other states where you're doing business.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's when it's always a good idea to consult with a legal professional, just to make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's.
Cover all your bases.
Exactly.
Okay, so it sounds like LLCs are, a good option.
They are a powerful tool.
Yeah.
For sure.
Especially here in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that, it's not just a one-time thing.
Right. There are ongoing responsibilities.
Okay.
Filing annual reports, maybe paying some franchise taxes.
Okay.
Just depending on how your business is structured.
Yeah. So do your research.
Yeah, exactly. Stay informed.
Okay. Well, this has been really interesting. I think, for all of our listeners out there, I'll just leave you with one final thought.
Sure.
As more and more businesses operate online, beyond state boundaries, I wonder how this is all going to change.
Yeah.
How are LLCs going to work, in the future?
Right.
So that's something to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
As you're going through this process.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.